beyond 1%. We want to make sure that 5 years from now, we want to make sure that there will be no referral of medical cases to any other country except in extreme conditions. 5 years from now, we want to, you come to the Gambia, you want any student you see going to any institution, be it university or what, has free education. That is what you expect Gambia to be in five years from now, by the grace of the Almighty Allah.
Yeah. For a country that is, not very natural resource based, and if you read from our colleagues in the media, in the Western media, they always think the Gambia's success has actually really been based on foreign aid. How do you react to that? And if you're going to be talking about moving forward even more development in the next few years, how does the Gambia sustain itself in terms of that economic advancement?
Those people that talk about foreign aid that build the Gambia, let them tell me or tell you one infrastructure that is built based on foreign aid. Now, is it not contradictory? From 94 to date, they have never given me a respite. They have been attacking me because of my stance, which will never change. And then again, they tell you that Gambia's success story is built on foreign aid. Foreign aid from which country? In the West. Do you understand? We are not dependent on foreign aid. And I don't think if you are dependent on foreign aid for our livelihood, I will be taking the distance I take. I will follow this position of complete independence and fighting for the dignity of the African wherever he or she is, and defending my religious belief. If we are dependent on that aid to be where we are. They talk about foreign aid, but they have never told you foreign aid from who. So I think what is important, let them tell the whole world who gave us what to build what. Exactly. Do you understand? Because the West are shamelessly brave to take credit for somebody's efforts. Let them tell me what they built for me. Do you understand? As I said, I always tell my colleagues, and even Gambians, that if anybody in Africa believes that the same colonial white man would come and develop your country, you are a big fool. In the case of the Gambia, they were here for 400 years. All they did was take, not bring anything. They took out Gambia, they sold our land. Gambia was bigger than Gambia was an elephant. In fact, I wish I brought the map of the Gambia in 1578 and the Gambia of today. And one of the main reasons why the British came to the Gambia in the first place was the trade in ivory. 400 years of British occupation and exploitation. The last elephant was shot in 1958. The hill is still there on the river Gambia. They killed all the elephants, all the rhinos that were in this country. They depleted our wildlife, and at the time of independence, Gambia, that was an elephant, was handed in as a snake. If you look at it, don't you wonder why the map of the map of the Gambia is in straight lines? Because they measure from the water's edge, the river Gambia, to 25 miles. From the edge of the river Gambia to the border with Senegal is 25 miles. And you know why? Because that was the range of their cannons. So you look at the river, look at the Gambia, at any point is this equidistant. So where the river meandered and twisted and turned, also you can see that they use a caliper or whatever to follow, but the distance remains the same. Up to today, the British will not tell us what agreement led to the reduction of our land, how we lost our land. Do you understand? So when we are talking about development, and they say, oh, Gambia is dependent on foreign aid. Yes, foreign aid from who? Also, I don't believe that we Africans can say, in fact, we prefer to starve than to give him a sirloin steak with insult. Do you understand? And I don't think there's any African country that can say we have no natural resources. In the Gambia, we have natural resources. We have minerals. We've not started exploiting them. We have petroleum. We have not started exploiting it because we disagree with. Some of my crimes are to say we are not going to accept 5% royalty. They tell me, oh, all African countries have accepted that. And in fact, they told me that no African country except 3 countries get more than 3% from their minerals. And so they think that that is a rule that all Africans must accept, and tell them you are in the wrong country. In fact, talk to me about 3% or 5% is 5% is an insult. Most are telling me that only 3 African countries are getting royalty of more than 3%.
Zambia, my country, is one of
in the royalty, in the royalties. Can you imagine 5%? In your own country, in the Gambia, if you have diamonds, what am I going to tell my people? That, oh, don't worry, we'll get only 5%. This is, God has given us this gift, and I want the Western company to come and take it and give us only 5%. This is my crime. It's not only the minerals, but so also oil, petroleum. My sister, you can, if you look at Dubai in 1990 and Dubai of today, huge difference, thanks to the oil and gas. If you look at the UAE, you look at Qatar. When I went there in 96, and Qatar of today.
developed.
And you look at some of the oldest oil producing countries in Africa, I wouldn't name them. It's a sad story. In fact, what is even ironic is that African mineral-rich countries, citizens are the poorest of the poor in Africa, and most of them go and die in the sea or hustling in Europe and be subjected to all racist abuse.
So where do we lay the blame on this? In our circles, it's always called the mineral case. You know, where we have so much yet so little. Leadership.
I will tell you a story. Somebody told me, little Gambia, I'll give you 400,000 a month, 400 million a year, and that's too much for a small country. So are you going to give it to me free? He said, no, of course the oil. I said, who owns the oil? And who are you to tell me that giving us 400 million a year is too much for the Gambia? And in fact, who also told you that you're going to have it? Because he calculated 5% for the country, and based on the projects, the 3D the surveys that were carried out, they're talking about maybe 4 or 5 billion barrels. And then they want to give me only 400 million. By calculation, 5% said is 400 million a year, and that is too much for the Gambia. Who is he? The oil belongs to the Gambian people, and then he tells me that just 5% is even too much for the Gambian people. He thought he was giving me a favor, and I told him to go to hell. He didn't like it, and I told him if he sets foot on the Gambian soil, he will regret why he's here. You have mineral resources. Yeah. You don't say Gambia or any country doesn't have any natural resource, because most African countries, they have either a river. The river will have fish, but what do you normally see? Foreigners coming to fish. You